Welcome to the WellDrop. Today, I'm thrilled to have a guest who is redefining how we think about aging, vitality, and the power of cutting-edge health innovation. Joining us is Brad Inman, the visionary founder of Live Long Media and the mastermind behind the Live Long Experience, a groundbreaking event you don't want to miss that brings together the world's leading voices in longevity science, biohacking, and holistic wellness. With a passion for democratizing health information, Brian has created a platform that makes the latest breakthroughs in medicine, biotechnology, and human performance accessible to everyone. His work is more than just about extending lifespan. It's about enhancing health span and empowering people with the tools not just to live longer, but to live better. The Live Long Experience, taking place in Palm Beach, is where the world's top experts, functional medicine doctors, and wellness innovators come together to share the latest research, strategies, and technologies that are shaping the future of health. In today's conversation, we'll dive into the most exciting longevity breakthroughs happening right now, how biohacking, functional medicine, and holistic wellness are changing the way we age, and what attendees can expect from the Live Long Experience and why it is a must-attend event. If you're ready to unlock the secrets to a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life, this episode is for you. Hey everyone, taking a quick second to interrupt to tell you about something I've been taking for months now, and wow, have I noticed a difference. A huge shift, and it's called True Niagen. It's a total game changer for everyday wellness. So here's a scoop. True Niagen works by increasing your NAD levels. Think of NAD as your fuel for your cells, needing to keep you energized, resilient, and thriving. And as we age, those levels naturally decline, which can leave us feeling tired, sluggish, and basically off our game. But with True Niagen, I feel a real difference, more energy. It's like my inner battery is fully charged every day. Faster recovery, whether it's from a tough workout or just the demands of life, I bounce back quicker. Healthy aging, it's not just about feeling great today, it's about creating a foundation for long-term vitality. Thousands of people swear by it, and now I'm one of them. So if you're looking for a simple way to level up your health and wellness, you need to check it out. Start your True Niagen journey today and feel the difference. Head to the link in the show notes, get a discount off your first order, because feeling energized, strong, and unstoppable is always in style. Now, let's get back to the show. Well, welcome to the show. I love to learn about, how you even thought to create this type of experience. What was your mission behind creating this Live Long experience?
Well, kind of selfishly, Amber, it was a personal one. I turned 72, and when I turned 70, I looked around, I said, I've got this amazing life. I'm so lucky. I'm happily married to a beautiful woman. I have two great kids. I have 5 grandchildren. I live in beautiful places around the world, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is too much to believe. I equated to the 20s. In your 20s, you had all the same things. You had freedom, you had no responsibility. And then as Zorba the Greek describes it, the whole catastrophe comes. And what's that? You're married with babies and a mother-in-law and a mortgage and a house. And then you're like trapped in that world for 30 years or 60 or 40 or whatever, how many years. And then in your 70s, you bury your parents with dignity. You raise your children to be self-reliant on their own, so they're not in your basement. And different than your 20s, you have a little money. Back then, you had a big American Express bill from staying out too late and partying. And I said, okay, what could end this? It's not the whole catastrophe again. It's the Grim Reaper knocking on the door. So that was really as simple as it gets. I'm an everyday man. I'm not some special guru. And I said, I've got to figure this out. What I've been hearing, kind of hearing about longevity. So I went on this journey personally, starting about 2 years ago. I did all the tests. I did all the treatments. I met all the functional health people. I signed up for everything. I was the guinea pig. I compare it to Howard Hughes when he used to, he would never test pilot his planes. He invented so many things, but one thing was aircraft. He would never put at risk young men to test things. And so I'm not Howard Hughes, but I am the guinea pig for my contribution to longevity. I went out and tried everything. And then I realized what's missing here is a credible independent media company. You have one extreme, you have these medical professionals who talk their own language, only talk to one another, collectively have very bad bedside manners. They're focused on sick care, not health care. And the
Yes.
other extreme, you had some kind of weird chucklehead, crazy people promising you could live forever. And then you had these celebrity gurus, and I went, wow, this is a place where I can build a media company around independence, credibility, and that's what we did. We don't sell supplements. We have no conflicts of interest. No one can pay us to be in our newsletters or podcasts. No one can pay us to be on stage. And we have advertisers, which we're very public about. And so we went about building a media company. So our first test to understand the customers, because honestly, our team knows how to build media companies, knows how to put on exceptional events, but we didn't know the science, we didn't know medicine, we didn't know healthcare. We have an amazing group of advisors who help us, who are very, very credible, independent, and give so much to us in our learning. So we tested it with an event last year in West Palm at the convention center, sold out, and people left super excited. And we learned so much. We learned, guess what? 70% were women. The average age, it wasn't old
I
guys
love
in,
that. Yay,
yes,
women.
it wasn't
Great.
old guys in wheelchairs. It was young, fairly affluent, and also very positive. People that want to live long tend to be positive. They tend to be positive people. They like life. And
Yeah.
they were also very nice. And they were very attractive. I went, wow, this is quite an amazing group. But we learned so much else about them. We learned about who in the industry is like credible, who is not, what is
Love it.
regulated. And so we've been spending the last year building up our media assets. We have over 100,000 subscribers to our newsletters and podcasts. We, have social presence, which is growing. And then we decided to do another event. And this time we decided to do a smaller, more intimate, more connective. We call it kind of the salon or the experience, where we're going to use peer-to-peer learning because we have such an incredible group of people. We have the same, not different, but all kinds of experts again, but it's combined with this more interactive, where there's this peer-to-peer learning. Because a lot of things we learn from our friends that have been through it. Like I just went through 2 medical tests in the last 2 weeks, and I learned a lot, and I'm going to tell everybody about it on the stage.
Yeah.
How I'm getting conflicting advice, and what do I do with conflicting advice? One doctor's
I think
telling
we're
me that,
so conditioned to just, I say in the era of Google where we outsource, 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 which there's a part of that that's good, right? We like within your own networks, right? You're going to talk to your friends, you're going to share information. But when it comes to the medical field, we outsource sometimes too much and we forget to stay curious, keep asking questions, and get multiple opinions. Like we are human at the end of the day. And I've had to realize through my own experiences that people only know what they know based upon what they studied. And depending on their personality, we need people like you, which is amazing to democratize it and to get it out there. And that there's a huge marketing machines, especially on social media. Wellness exploded post COVID and people are getting bombarded all the time. And at the WellDrop, we love to sift through the noise. So I feel like in a similar vein, you are doing that with the event where you are helping to sift through the noise for people where for me, I'm also the experimenter
oh,
amongst,
great.
my friend group. I experiment everything on myself first. I only speak about things that I truly use. I'm not here to just sell products. Like I am doing this really with the mission to help people to empower them to take charge of their health. And I think we need more voices like that out there because everyone is so confused and they're overwhelmed.
Oh,
And I think going to an
totally.
event like this is a perfect stepping stone where it's great for a wellness beginner for them to learn and feel empowered. I say when you go to an event like this, you will learn more in a day than you have in the last 5 years at your doctor's appointments. I mean, it is just the gates will open up for you in terms of your knowledge base. And for the wellness enthusiast and the person who's already been in this space, there's always, it's like you learn something new every day. Like if you keep
Exactly.
that mindset and you're seeing like the most healthy people are going to these types of events and the aspiration should be especially for somebody even younger than me is I want to be like those people, right? And even for you, it's like I want to you keep looking to whoever your inspiration is, like I want to live long as possible, but as healthy as possible and feel as good as possible. Now, how do we do that, right? Who do I listen to? And so I love what you have created, and thank you, because it is
Oh, well, you
so
too. You're
useful.
doing the same work, and so we're soul sisters here on this
We are.
longevity journey. And I really admire what you're all about, because it's all about credibility and trust, and it takes time to build that trust. But that's really our whole angle at the event, to build trust by being independent source, but without recommending. We don't recommend treatments. We don't promote products. We let our experts, try to explain these things. And then we also ask them hard questions. We're journalists, so we ask them hard questions. As we say, we're there for the person that flew in from Omaha. We're not there for the big shot speakers.
Right. So what can somebody expect if they are planning to come to the event? And if you weren't thinking about the event, you're going to mark your calendars right now for the end of March
Yeah,
to
we'd love to
attend
have you.
in Palm Beach. So what can somebody expect when they come
Well,
to the
they can expect
hearing?
two things. The pillars of longevity, which we all know, which I always say, 90% of the journey to try to live longer and a healthier life, it's all free. A walk on the beach, eating right, trying to improve your sleep, increasing the amount of social interaction you have, reducing your stress. So we will have some of that, which we think is really important. But we also are always on the bleeding edge. Everyone wants to know, when will I get that magic pill? Not like you get at Burning Man, but the magic pill that will get you, um, a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's or whatever it is. So we have some of the brightest minds in the world coming to explain what's around the bend, what's here now. Should you do a blood transfusion? And we're not talking about some of the weirdos that own these clinics doing it, but we're talking state of the art, best of the best of breed, medical, professionals, researchers. We'll be talking about how to track your health, and there's a lot of different ways. I mean, we just had a post today about the founder of Spotify. Mr. Echo has formed a new full body scan, but very affordable. So it's a breakthrough, because a lot of these are very expensive. So all of the things that are being done in the areas of longevity, we don't have everybody there, but we have, I think, 25 different experts, and then we have, 20 facilitators. But it's also very interactive. It's very fun. We have entertainment, we have music, we have impulsive exercise in the middle of everything. I'm bringing my Chinese healer who's been practicing for 40 years, I use her and my great physician at NYU to try to figure out what's right for Brad. And it is fun. People come to events that Katie and I have done, and Katie's my full partner here. Her and I have done events where people always leave feeling better about themselves and hopeful, without being clownish, without being ridiculous.
Yeah,
People feel empowered and excited. And my goal this time is to meet all 200 people. And a bigger goal is to get all 200 people to meet all of the other 200 people. Now,
that's
we're probably not going to
amazing.
achieve that, but you
Speed
got to have
date
big
round.
ambitions.
A
Uh,
speed date round.
yeah, so it's fun, it's informative, it moves very quickly, you learn a lot, and you also, more than anything, leave feeling really good about your community, about this community in particular, and about yourself. And so, no one ever leaves unhappy. We always promise 100%. You leave, you didn't like it, I'll refund your money. And in 30 years doing world-class events, I think one woman once asked for a full refund.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, if you heard that, refunding money, I mean, he is getting behind his event. I
oh,
think it will not disappoint for sure.
No, I'd
I
have
mean,
no
for
problems
somebody,
refunding money.
the term longevity is definitely going to be like the term of 2025. For someone
Right.
who's like, what does that even mean? What
Yeah.
does longevity mean to you? And what are the different pillars that you, especially because that's been your focus the last 2 years, think
Well,
that somebody should think about when they think of the word longevity?
and you correct me, Amber, you know more about this than I do. Again, we're the facilitator, we're the middle person here, amongst all the experts. For me, there's biological age, right? That's what was given to us by our ancestors, right? That's what we were given. And we have a biological age. Can we move the needle on that? What can we do to add? I mean, I'm 72 and I've done the testing that shows,
You look
it,
great.
oh, you're sweet. I do have a pimple right here. uh, but, uh, see, I'm the real guy here.
I love
But
it.
how would I go about adding the prediction is that I could live to 95, you know? And that seems 23 years, that seems like a long time, so I wouldn't be too unhappy with that. But I think what we might do is live forever, no, all these false promises of that, and I think they're false, maybe I'm wrong. I don't wanna demean anybody that has big ambitions, but, you know, how do I add a couple more years? But the other thing for me is, I think everybody, is how do I live a happy, robust, active life where I'm not falling apart? I collect antique cars, and to keep those cars going, you have to tweak them constantly. You know, their biological age is pretty short normally, but the cars I have been taken care of for so many years. So it's taking care of it. The other thing, we have a lot of people younger than I, you know, 40, 50. Um, what are the things you need to do now at your age to prevent having three stints in your heart like I do?
Yeah.
You know, I was a nerdy journalist. I ate too much. I partied too much. And looking back, I wish I had done more testing earlier. I wish I had taken care of myself. And so I think we can pass on to those generations behind mine, at least. And I, you know, I like my children around 40, and they live much healthier lives than I did. And so it's already baked into their DNA, but they're also unbelievably curious about all the things they can do to be healthy. So I think it's two things. Add a few years to your biological life, but make sure those years you add and the years before that, you're living a healthier, active, and probably the most thing is happy. You know, happiness is derived from health, mental health, physical health, your friends being healthy, and so it's a pretty simple mission. We're not throwing out some crazy stuff here. These are one step at a time. Just as we're building our media company, it's one step at a time.
Yeah, and I think what's nice is when you attend an event like this, it sort of allows you to learn about many different modalities, and you're given sort of the how to, because I think a lot of people, it is overwhelming. Okay, like, where do I start? And I said, just it's about just getting on that first step. It doesn't matter where, as long as you do something and you create, it's all about habit formation. So you create this new habit, right? So whether if it's testing, for me, I test at least twice a year. A big goal could be, I don't even believe in over testing, but once a year is just not enough. I mean, we've been doing once a year. There's no way you can even like tweak something to follow up. Like, you need to be monitoring. So I think consistent monitoring your health is super important, like you mentioned. And then figuring out, okay, after I do that, what is the next tweak? And you're constantly just walking up that staircase. And it really isn't this big, overwhelming thing if you just look at one step at a time. And as you start to do it, it starts to be your normal. Like, you don't even realize that you're doing the thing. It just
Amber, you
is your
nailed it.
life.
You nailed it. I've known for 25 years what a healthy diet was, but
Right. We all
only when I got
know.
into longevity and it was pounded into me by my editor of our newsletter twice a week, did it finally occur to me in the morning, you know, just steam some asparagus and do some other things throughout the day and reduce this and reduce that and add this and add that. I found myself not just eating food I didn't like, but actually enjoying it. But most importantly, it took pounding into Brad's head that newsletter and reading it and reading about longevity, like, oh my gosh, this takes work. But you're right. That is the key. We form habits, bad habits, and to form new habits. And I think that's where we need the help of others, you know, to learn and also to reinforce what we should be doing. Like, I am married
Yeah,
to an unbelievable Moroccan cook. She's
lucky.
amazing, and she loves to cook. She's coming tonight from Paris, and she'll be cooking tonight, I'm sure, and cooking all day tomorrow. And that's a Mediterranean diet. It's healthy, and so But here I've been left alone to my own devices for a month, and you know, the other day I had a test that I came out really great, and I put something on LinkedIn. What's the reward for a good test? To go to KFC once every 5 years. But I really,
But that's your generation. I think your generation is was lucky that the quality of your food source was completely different than my generation. I mean, even 30 years ago, you don't know my story, but quickly I healed myself from Crohn's disease through
mm,
food.
I
And I
read
still
that.
tell doctors to this day about that, and they still discount it and say that's not possible. And the food then I can tell it was totally different. And then my son was diagnosed 5 years ago, completely different journey. And food today is not enough to
Wow.
heal him. and it's because of our dead soils, and it's like a deeper thing. But the power of food, right? That is nature. It's going back to
Yeah.
our traditions. How do we survive, centuries and centuries? It was just with food, vitamin that provided vitamins and minerals and all these essential nutrients to our body. And we've gotten into this whole, smoothie society. We're not even chewing. So when you don't chew, you don't produce enzymes, then you don't digest your food. We've been on this like whole bad cycle where it's really just going back to the basics and getting that foundation really strong, like you
Amber, where are
said.
you based?
I'm in Miami.
Come up and be on my stage, please. You're so smart.
Oh, thank you. I would love
No,
to
and I
because
love the way you talk, and I love how see, I really think this is about our personal journeys. I mean, all the experts are great, yap, 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 but
I have a big personal journey.
yeah, I really think
Been
those are
going for
the
that.
stories that really, really help. I was brought up in a farm town, and I had 300 acres of corn on one side and 300 acres of beans on the other side. And you were never short, and, huge gardens and fresh tomatoes and everything. And yet that whole ecosystem over the decades was destroyed. The farms are
Yeah.
still there, but people started eating canned foods. My parents thought to be modern, even though we had all this fresh
Canned
food,
foods.
that to be modern, we shouldn't have a truck. We shouldn't
Yeah,
have well water, which is probably healthier for us. And
yeah,
we should eat corn and beans out of a can. I mean, the complete deterioration of that is contributed to so many people being unhealthy. I
yeah.
would love to get you on stage. I don't mean to digress here,
Thank
but
you. No, 100%. I'd be happy to share my
yeah, you're
story.
really good. I would love to. You could help us a lot. And, the challenge is keeping everyone honest and straight. And you have a lot of great insight and a great
Oh, I'm
reputation.
like extremely authentic and I don't hold back.
I love that. We're soul sisters.
Yes, I've no shame. I mean, it's been quite a journey, and it's amazing. I just met a top researcher actually for the microbiome out of Israel just last week, and I said to him, he's like, "Oh, I have Crohn's." I'm like, "Oh, funny, I healed myself." He goes, "That's not possible." I'm like, "Okay, well, it's been 30 years. Like, I've had two colonoscopies. I just did my stool test. My calprotectin is under 50. I have no antibodies. Yeah, I think I could say I always say I had Crohn's, and it's like shifting the narrative. We don't need to live in this like constant. We have so many chronic illnesses. We don't need to live in this autoimmune state, but it's work and it's a fight. And like I think, thank God I learned about self-care practices. And like you were saying with your Chinese healer, I think part of that is like that is the foundation. It's like connecting to your body and your spirit and nurturing it and caring for it. And it's a never-ending job. And it's a
Never ending.
great job.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful job because then you don't have to play catch up. Like my dad is the complete
Oh, I'm playing
opposite
catch
of
up.
me, not healthy, ate whatever he wants, and now he's spending his time in multiple doctor's appointments, and
Yeah.
that's not what I want to do. And I always say to my kids, like, I want to set you free from being tied to going to the doctor.
I
Doctors are
love it.
amazing. I love them. But for acute situations, don't just I
Well, we
don't want
say,
it.
and you've heard this expression, healthcare, not sick. Well, here's one, Amber. This is just probably under the category of TMI, too much information, but
Never.
just in the last 2 weeks. So I had the colonoscopy, came out great. I had one little thing that doesn't require me to go back for 5 years, but he said, you can treat this by a high fiber diet. Okay. Boom. And, I'm pretty good at that. And then I have another problem in my lower plumbing, and I have to go to a surgeon to get to get two hernias treated. Okay. And that surgeon tells me, Brad, you you're what's making this work is high fiber diet. And I go, how do you take these experts and sort it out and know what to do? And
Confusing.
it's a month till surgery, so I guess I'm not going to be high fiber according to my colonoscopy doctor, but I am good. I mean, this is the problem too, because
This
there
is the
there's
problem.
sound bites we get from our doctors. They give us little pieces of the puzzle. In fact, interestingly, at our event, about 25% are medical professionals, and they're young. And you know what? They get it. They're tired of stamping out, you know, private
A
equity
lot
owned
of doctors
clinics,
have seen the other
patients
side.
every 15 minutes. They want to
Yes.
learn about longevity. They want to integrate it into their business. So the beauty for the public is they're going to be sitting next to a young doctor. They're going to be, again, that peer-to-peer learning. So we have so much work to do together, all of us, to get this
Yes.
right, but it is so confusing. As I often say, people say, well, what's in the sky? What's in the outer space? And what's under the sea? I don't know what's in my own body. And I'm
Right.
trying to figure that
Start
out.
there. Let's start with our body, but I agree. It's super confusing, and I always say you have to, at the end of the day, be your own advocate. I think that is like the biggest learning lesson. You know, I was lucky that my mom advocated for me. I advocate for my children. And no one is going to do the job. I think that is the wake up that people need to have, is that you are your own advocate. You can't
Totally.
outsource the answer to someone else. You could get their advice and their opinion, but the determination and whatever that real path is forward is for you to decide based
I think you
upon.
nailed it. I mean, the one challenge, I'll call it DYI. I'm out testing, right? There's a mile. It's not the last mile, it's the last 5 miles, but I get all this information. One, I don't know exactly what to do with it.
No.
I got
Yeah.
my closet full of reports. Um, some of it's fine print. It's not very clear-headed. And you're given it like a Pronuvo test or the
Yep.
biomarkers or whatever they are, and you don't really know what to do with it. I give it to my doctor at NYU, and he says you're over testing. I give it to
Correct.
my daughter-in-law, who's a famous doctor in San Francisco at UCF, and she goes, Brad, what are you doing all this for? And you're turning into a hypochondriac. And there's a missing ingredient in all this innovation, and that's to tie it all together more holistically.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the concierge medicine. Oh, we'll tie it all together for you, and it's great. $25,000. Did that. Found that to be kind of empty as well. So there's so much work to connect the dots
Yeah.
between longevity and traditional medicine. In fact, a lot of the events that I've done, we call the events connect, because you're trying to connect tried and tested practices from the tradition of medicine
Love
with
that.
innovation. And how do you connect the two of them? And it is so disconnected here.
Yeah. I always say it's about connecting the dots. And I think that it's really about you creating your wellness team of advisors. And so you definitely need, you know, if that's functional medicine doctor, and you can do all these different tests, but then you do have to work to connect the dots. But I do believe if you start these tests, like there's a Dutch, I'm in perimenopause right now, and I've been doing this Dutch test, this hormone test for the
Hmm.
last 8 years. So I can work with my doctor and see the path of how my hormones have been changing.
Wow.
And it's so much more detailed than any OB. And I can't even believe this isn't a standard protocol, because my blood labs, my hormones look fine. But then the Dutch is a little bit more detailed, and it shows you breakdown of the hormones, estrogen, progesterone, breaking down into your methylation to see how you're detoxifying your hormones every month. And that is showing a completely different picture. But because I've been tracking it, it's not such an overwhelm, because I've been looking at it for a long time. And so you're able to say, okay, I think you need to add a DIN, or that you're adding little bits instead of we're playing a big catch up all the time
Yeah.
because we're not constantly tracking. So people may feel that it's over monitoring, but I think in the long term sense, it's actually not, because then you really get to know your body. Right? The whole point is we should know our bodies inside and out. And
Absolutely. It's a big mystery to me. And every time I learn something, I go, oh, and you can connect it to your past and all the things you
yeah,
did and your
exactly.
DNA and who your grandparents were. Hey, by the way, in that theme you just mentioned, a big part of our program, integrated into everything, but also a whole bunch of breakouts and sessions and general sessions, is on women health. That is a high priority of the entire event. It was a high priority last time, but it's even a higher priority now. And it's not throwing a
I
bone.
always say I tell you the things that nobody warned us about. So I know menopause is having a major moment. I'm in the perimenopause state. That's also where I am. It is, the struggle is real. That's what I say. The
Yeah,
struggle is real, and I am determined to like break it down as simple and as clearly as possible for women as I go through the journey myself, because it's tough and I think we shouldn't have to suffer through it. And perimenopause is a long time. It's a decade.
yeah,
Oh, the joys.
yeah. Katie, in fact, she's on in the producer room right now, but Katie Gadu is running our program, and she's my partner in this, and she's built a really great program. And she just sent out what's it called? Women Are Not Small Men, I think it was what it was.
Yeah,
And basically, if you look at this industry, it's like every other industry I've been involved in, disrupting, not surprising. The medical field, look at the gurus, they're all men. They're all men.
that's
All the
why that was my
celebrities. Amber,
inspiration in the WellDrop.
we need to make you the next celebrity. So I'm on
Thank
your
you.
side. I'm president of your fan club.
Thank
Um,
you. That was the inspiration of creating the WellDrop, is because I really at the WellDrop, I try to highlight female voices in the wellness sector and
That's
including my
great.
own voice because we need more female voices. We are so not studied. We're starting to be studied. We need, and it's fine. We can wait for the science to catch up, but the most important thing to me is through lived experiences,
Yeah,
right? Like they're not going to be, but we'll wait 30 years. I'm not going to wait 30 years. Like I'm talking about now. So I want to know like what works, what, has been used Ayurvedic in India for centuries. Like these are, I think, the answers that we're all seeking. So where can people find this
sure.
amazing live long
So it's
experience?
live
What's the
long
web?
dot events. Live long instead of .com, it's .events. Live long, and the whole agenda, the program, the speakers, the location. It's at the Palm House on Palm Beach Island, which is the center of good living for sure. It's in a really unbelievably great setting for the interactivity and the community building that we do and the peer-to-peer learning. It's a brand new hotel. It's not brand new. It's been around a lot. There's a TV show that's
Renovated, I
based
think.
on that, and it's really, you walk in and you just get kind of chills. It makes you feel good and feel right, and it's 2 days. It starts at 4 o'clock on Friday. It's on the weekend because this is for the public, and ends on Saturday night. And we'll create a code,
Yes,
Amber.
we'll put it
People,
in the show notes.
what?
And
Oh,
I'll put it in the show notes so
yeah,
you
and
guys
we'll
can.
we'll make it Amber. I think Katie can do that, or someone on her team can create it so people can get a discount. We are selling out. Like I don't want to. This isn't BS. We're down to not a lot of tickets left.
Down to the wire. So we're giving you last minute access. Get your
Yes,
tickets now.
and you get
You
to
don't
see
want to miss
Amber.
it.
We just got a
And
deal.
you can see me. We can hang out for the weekend.
Yeah.
Talk all things
I-
wellness. So excited. Brad, thank you so
oh,
much for
you're the best.
creating this event.
You're really
Thank
good
you
at
for
what you do. I'm really honored to be on your show, and thanks for all your insight in this podcast. And I look forward to seeing you on stage.
likewise. Can't wait. We'll see you there.